G'day, welcome to the Prayer Project podcast, episode 10. My name's Jetta Doroshenko, and I'm here with Ian Alexander.
Beautiful day today.
So today we're going to talk about body geometry.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that component of the Prayer Project?
So body geometry is the idea of keeping your body in alignment. And that involves clean eating as healthfully as you can, stretching, yoga, energization. And it's a really important component. So something that I do while I'm practicing and while I'm doing is I stretch my body out. And there's different movements to stretch out the life nerve, to stretch out the lower back, to stretch out the neck, and to move these different snap, crackle, and pop, right? And everyone says, oh, the snap, crackle, and pop means I'm getting old. That's silly. It's just built up energy in your body and your muscles. So to get those cracks out and to stretch the body out and to realign the body. Because the body is kind of like a bird, right? When you have all of the different feathers, your muscles, sinews in alignment, it works properly. But a bird without preening its feathers isn't going to fly very far. And that's the same thing with people where they don't stretch, they don't energize, they don't maintain their body battery, their body biomechanical machine. So this gives them an opportunity to really take a hold of that and through consistency, keep the body stretched out, keep the body energized by the tools that we offer.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like first thing in the morning, you wake up, you got to energize your body, right? You're in a different state. You have breakfast, break the fast. You got to break the fast of energy too. And even with cold plunging, right? Like cold plunging, like if you want to do breath work before the cold plunge, get your circulation going, get that intention, that connection to your body before you get into the water, it's a much different experience, less pain, less mental stress. And it's almost like if that makes sense in the cold plunge, makes sense to me in the morning too.
Exactly. And we encourage people to wake up and do the body energizing. And the body energizing is an optional component because I don't do it every day. Sometimes I wake up and I just go. But I do sometimes at some point during the day, and you've seen me where I'll like stretch out, I'll get down on the ground, I'll stretch out my back, my hips, my legs, and just make sure that my body is flexible because flexibility is youth and flexibility is strength. And it prevents injury. So to keep your body flexible and energized. Now, one of the most powerful tools that we have is the energization. And this is really a component that I wouldn't say is more advanced, but it takes a lot of energy and visualization because you're energizing the body. And it's from a very popular holy man. His name is Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda. And he brought an energizing technique that is very common. Like you see this in Tai Chi, you see this in many of the different Kriyas or breathing and energization techniques. Like for instance, Wim Hof is one where it heats up the body and there's these different elements where you use this energizing technique to energize the body and visualize the body being energized and strong. So it's very powerful and very effective if you can get it into a habit.
Yeah, great book, Autobiography of a Yogi. Would definitely recommend to anyone who's listened to the podcast. Great book, great read, loved it. And Wim Hof, like through these methods of like energizing the body, this dude has been able to like transcend the perceived limitations of the human body, which is like...
Yeah, and that's the idea where what you want to do is build your understanding of the body to energize it and have a good relationship. Your body loves you. It wants you to be happy. It wants you to be healthy. But you have to take care of it and listen to it. So for instance, there's this idea that the body keeps score, right? So when you're having different elements, there's a book called The Body Keeps Score. And when things are happening in your hips, your shoulders, listen to your body. What is it trying to tell you? Where are you holding tension? Where's your mind going? Where are your emotions going? And that's why it integrates so well with the Prayer Project because it allows you to process and move through your body, but also to be more present with your body to say, okay, well, I have this constant pain. Perhaps this is a trauma or a thought pattern that is causing these issues within our bodies. So by being aware of your body, where it's at, how it's balanced, how I'm walking. Something else that's important is to be aware of how you walk. A lot of people, they have hip problems and knee problems because they don't walk properly. You see those pigeon feet, they walk along and they're like one foot straight and the other foot's out. And I'm like, I bet you have left hip problems. And they're like, how'd you know? Well, because one foot's straight and the other one looks like a penguin. So it's just a matter of how do you walk? How do you eat? Some people are like, oh, I eat healthy. How much chocolate do you have a week? They're like, oh, 4 bars. I'm like, that's a lot. Or, the oils are so devastating to your body these days where you're like, all right, well, how much do you eat out? They're like, oh, once or twice a week. Well, where do you eat? Like, oh, the greasiest Mexican food I can find. Like, all right, well, you take that whole pile and you put that onto a box over the course of the month. You put that into your body. What's happening when you're like, oh, I had 1 or 2 tacos. Well, by the end of the month, that's like 15 tacos.
Gives you a good perspective, right? Of like, you're taking inventory of your body. You're understanding like what you put into it is what you get out of it. And this might be a hot take, maybe too much information. People who know me would know this, but like I take it to the extreme. I love getting information from my body and understanding that. It takes time. You document it. The more intention you put into it, the more results you get. And even stuff like not using deodorant, with the aluminum or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can even smell your body it smells different when you put those kind of oils or whatever.
100%.
Kind of like,
so like the smell is so important, and that's another interesting topic when it comes to when you mask your smell. Some people are like, oh, people are stinky. Well, maybe you're not for them because they smell amazing to somebody else. On the other hand, if you're smelling like not great to everybody, then it might be like, yo, your diet. Because if you're eating things, that's the way you smell. If you're eating horrible food, you're probably smelling that way. And if someone doesn't like the way you smell, that's okay. But at the same time, evaluate it. Like, is that because of they might not be a genetic match for me? Or maybe, if somebody doesn't like the way I smell, I believe them.
Yeah, that's interesting too.
Because smell is so powerful, like pheromones and smell. Like there's that saying where if you smell somebody and you like the way they smell, like there's a reason for that.
Yeah, and it may not just be something, whatever direction you want to take with it, whether it's like esoteric or just like genetic or whatever. Maybe it's based on your diet. Maybe it's based on your habits. Maybe it's based on a bunch of different things.
Yeah, most people when they say, "Oh, I have these issues," if you say, "All right, we'll write down everything you eat, come back in a month, and if there's nothing here, I'll give you $1." And they can't get 15 minutes without being like, oh, like once or twice a week I go to the ice cream store. And you're like, once or twice a week? Like, what do you mean? Like, how much ice cream are we talking about? Like, oh, 2 scoops. Like, you have 4 scoops of ice cream a week? And then there's other people like, oh, I don't eat that much. Like, well, what do you do on the weekend? Well, I get drunk and like, you go out and eat the kebabs.
That's when my smells start coming out, is a big weekend out,
right?
Always.
And you're like, you can smell the booze and the food, and it's a thing. So body geometry is really about owning your body in the opportunity to keep it aligned, to keep it strong, to keep it healthy, and to eat as cleanly as you can. And although they might say, oh, well, that's difficult. Well, yeah, it is. And it takes discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
But the rewards of it are longevity and health and well-being, because if you try to stopgap or mitigate your body talking to you, you're essentially telling it to shut up. And then all of a sudden, catches up with you when you get older. So
yeah,
perhaps,
exactly. You gotta pick your fight, right? Like we talk about with the prayer mansion, 10 minutes a day and your place is clean forever.
Yeah.
Or else, it can build up and then you have to deal with it all at once. And in a health situation, Anyway, shall we wrap up this podcast with a little prayer, my friend? Would you do us the honors?
Thank you, sir. Lord, Father, Mother, Friend, Beloved God, bless us with healthy bodies. Please bless us in body, mind, and spirit with your ever youthful, ever present, ever power. Amen.
Amen, brother. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been the Prayer Project Podcast, episode 10. Have a great day.